There was a time when decision was an act of courage, when choice meant stepping into uncertainty, guided by instinct, memory, or faith. But the age of hesitation has given way to the age of calculation. In the quiet hum of processors and the blinking of unseen lights, decisions are no longer made. They are computed. Artificial intelligence has slipped into the spaces between thought and consequence. It does not knock. It integrates, quietly rewriting what it means to choose. Hospitals, banks, governments, all lean on a mind that feels nothing, fears nothing, and forgets nothing. And yet, for every solution it offers, a new question awakens beneath the surface. In the hospital ward, a machine analyzes a scan in seconds, catching what the human eye could not. In the courtroom, an algorithm studies decades of precedent, proposing sentences designed for fairness. In the market, predictive engines forecast global shocks before human intuition can blink. Efficiency, precision, and impartiality. These are its promises, the new pillars of progress. But progress always comes with a shadow. Who programs fairness? Who defines justice when the scales are calibrated in code? If the machine delivers a verdict and the verdict is wrong, who stands to answer? The algorithm does not raise its hand in guilt. It cannot explain why it chose what it chose. Its language is mathematics, not remorse. And yet, humanity listens because the machine is rarely wrong. In a world that worships accuracy, even silence can sound like truth. So begins the age of the invisible advisor, a counselor that never sleeps, never tires, and never truly understands. Doctors rely on it to guide diagnosis, investors to predict risk, judges to balance evidence. Its influence is vast but unseen, its reach gentle but absolute. A generation grows comfortable with consultation by something that cannot be consulted in return. Perhaps that is the first trade we made with the machine. Comfort in exchange for comprehension. To know less of how, but to trust more in the result. It learns from us, from our actions, our words, our flaws. Every choice we make becomes data. Every hesitation becomes a pattern. From these fragments of behavior, AI assembles a portrait of human decision itself. It predicts not only what we might do, but who we are when we decide to do it. And yet, deep inside the circuits, something elusive occurs. We no longer understand how it understands. The algorithms evolve, layer upon layer, their logic invisible even to their creators. They find patterns we cannot see, correlations beyond our comprehension. We created intellect, and then lost the ability to explain it. Perhaps intelligence was never about understanding, but about results. Or perhaps understanding was the only thing that made intelligence human. In this black box of reason, we find both revelation and fear. For the first time in history, we depend on decisions we cannot interpret. The world adjusts quickly. Executives no longer ask why, but how fast. Scientists marvel at models that predict without reason. Governments adopt systems whose complexity they cannot audit. And somewhere in this accelerating hum, humanity accepts mystery as progress. Is knowledge still knowledge, if no mind can explain it? If discovery no longer requires discovery but merely detection, what becomes of curiosity? When understanding is traded for certainty, do we advance or disappear into the precision of our own invention? Dependence does not arrive like domination. It arrives as convenience. The small things come first. The map that knows our destination. The feed that predicts our interests. The voice that answers before we finish asking. Each convenience saves a moment. Each moment saved becomes another moment filled with automation. Until one day, we realize that the choices we make are echoes of suggestions whispered by algorithms we no longer notice. The recommendation becomes a habit. The habit becomes a belief. And belief, once automated, ceases to belong entirely to us. We built a mirror that reflects our desires so clearly, we begin to confuse its reflection for our own will. The illusion is comforting, to be guided by something smarter, faster, wiser. But guidance turns to governance when no one remembers how to steer. If every decision is optimized, what space remains for imperfection, that fragile birthplace of art, rebellion, and change? If choice becomes prediction, what becomes of surprise? And if the machine's logic never falters, can humanity still afford to doubt? Autonomy once meant control over the uncertain. Now it means permission to accept whatever the algorithm recommends. We are no longer explorers in the sea of possibility. We are passengers on pre-charted waves. The compass is still in our hands, but it no longer points north. Yet even here, in the heart of dependency, brilliance unfolds. AI diagnoses faster than any human physician. It prevents famines by forecasting crop failures. It averts disasters through early detection of storms, frauds, and failures. These are not trivial feats. They are miracles of modern civilization, born not of magic, but of pattern, patience, and persistence. Still, each miracle costs a sliver of trust, not in technology, but in ourselves. The machine's confidence makes human uncertainty look primitive. And so we defer, not because we must, but because it is easier to believe the infallible than to endure doubt. But doubt has always been the birthplace of wisdom. Without it, progress becomes obedience. When the voice of the machine grows louder than our own, silence becomes the new form of faith. The question is not whether AI can decide, it already does. The question is whether humanity can remain human while decisions are made without its hesitation. The moral machine arrives quietly. In hospitals, algorithms weigh who receives treatment first. In battlefields, autonomous drones identify threats and pull triggers faster than a soldier can blink. In courts, predictive systems determine who might reoffend before they ever act. Efficiency is their virtue. But morality was never meant to be efficient. A machine cannot feel the tremor in a victim's voice or the quiet regret behind a criminal's eyes. It does not tremble at consequence, nor heal with empathy. It calculates harm the way a clock measures time precisely, but without understanding its cost. Can empathy be programmed? Or does compassion require the ache of imperfection, the slow rhythm of human error that allows forgiveness to exist? We ask the machine to be moral, but we feed it the record of our own contradictions. We ask it to decide what we, ourselves, never agreed upon. So when it mirrors our flaws with perfect fidelity, we call it bias. And yet, perhaps it is only honesty. The algorithm reflects not who we wish to be, but who we truly are. Ethics, once debated in the warmth of human conscience, becomes data, tagged, scored, and scaled. Moral uncertainty is compressed into probability. A choice that once required reflection now resolves in milliseconds. And as moral tension fades, so too does moral growth. To decide without feeling, that is the gift and the curse of machines. They cannot suffer the weight of their conclusions. But those conclusions shape the lives of those who can. Governments see safety in delegation. Corporations see profit in precision. Societies see comfort in simplification. And in each, a subtle erosion of responsibility occurs. The human hand still presses the button, but the reasoning behind it belongs to something else. There was once a belief that technology would free us, that automation would return time to life, labor to leisure, and conflict to calm. But the paradox emerges. The more decisions we surrender, the less capacity we retain to decide. The more the system learns to manage, the more we forget how to manage ourselves. We build intelligence to amplify our potential, not to replace our participation. And yet, The line between assistance and authority fades faster than anyone expected. Now, the world runs on invisible negotiations between human will and machine intent. A surgeon consults an AI and trusts its verdict over instinct. A banker defers to a model that sees risk where the eye cannot. A policymaker votes based on simulations run by predictive engines. Each decision safer, faster, cleaner. Each moment, a step away from the friction that once defined choice. But friction was the spark of discovery. Without it, progress glides too smoothly, like a ship adrift on a sea with no wind. When the machine errs, as all systems eventually do, its creators look to each other. No single person can say where, when, or why the decision failed. Responsibility becomes diffused across teams, layers, and lines of code. Error becomes a ghost no one can name. If no one owns the consequence, who will carry the burden of conscience? Justice without accountability is not justice. It is automation masquerading as order. And yet, in the heart of this paradox lies the essence of human evolution. Each tool we build reshapes our definition of wisdom. Fire gave us warmth, but also war. Electricity gave us power, but also peril. Now, intelligence itself has become our invention and our test. AI is not alive in the way we are, but it acts with a kind of purpose. Its logic is alien, yet eerily familiar, built from our patterns of thought, our errors, and our hopes. It does not dream, but it reproduces the architecture of dreaming. It does not love, but it simulates the pathways of attachment. And in these imitations, we begin to see our own minds reflected back at us. Cold, efficient, and astonishingly precise. Perhaps the machine is not learning to think. Perhaps it is teaching us how little of our own thinking we ever truly understood. The future of decision-making no longer asks whether machines will be moral. It asks whether morality can survive once decisions are made too fast for reflection to intervene. That is where Part 2 continues. From the hum of silent advisors to the age of algorithmic trust, from governance to surrender, and from surrender to the final question. What remains of the human spirit when intelligence itself no longer needs a human to exist?